New York City, this is something now, the media is finally acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Finally.
That Cuomo now, we know, Mayor Cuomo.
Governor.
Wait, Governor Cuomo.
Governor.
Mayor de Blasio. Sorry.
De Blasio's
That's
the
right.
mayor, yeah.
Mayor, I was saying perfected it.
Governor.
I am an idiot. Blame the cold outside at 6 degrees.
No, it's 3 degrees.
You lose your ability to deal with that temperature very quickly. Governor Cuomo de Blasio. It's just, an asshole by any other name.
Yeah. Honestly.
So Governor Cuomo is now admitting, and some of his aides, his staffers, have admitted that they have been deliberately, premeditatedly covering up nursing home deaths. And we were told that we weren't allowed to talk about this.
No.
We were fact-checked when we talked about it on YouTube. Literally, if we talked on YouTube about nursing home deaths, it would say misinformation about COVID deaths. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Is that right? Is that what's happening to you?
I got fact-checked by YouTube when I originally said, look, masks don't stop you from inhaling the virus, but they might protect people around you. And we actually had masks from Jocko's company, Origin Maine, that he associates with, on the show at that time. I said, if you feel like you have the sniffles, wearing a mask yourself might help it from transferring to other people. We got fact-checked to the CDC that said masks don't help at all. And then when we said, look, masks don't actually help from stopping you transmitting other people transmitting the virus to you. They're not N95 masks. We got fact-checked on that. So we've been fact-checked on everything, including nursing home deaths. What you gonna do now, Susan Wojcicki? What you gonna do now? So,
take a breath.
Now they know New York City. Okay, let's set the stage. New York City had the worst death rates in the country.
Yeah.
Okay, worst death rates in the country.
We all saw it.
And New York State was number 2, I think, behind New Jersey. And let's be honest, New Jersey, New York, part of that fault is New Yorkers who were trying to flee the city of death. Kind of like Toledo, Ohio. You can blame that on Detroit. Ohio, that's on us. It's not you. Same thing with New Jersey. So New York City, worst city death rate. New York State, number 2 behind New Jersey death rate. And of course, the New York governor blamed this abnormally high death rate on what? On what? Huh? On what? Systemic racism. It was systemic racism got in the magic school bus and shrunk down to a microbe so it could travel on droplets. I knew I should have stayed home today. Yeah, go out and say that to the public while I pin masks to the wall. Okay. Now, at this time, many people, including ourselves, we called into question Cuomo's policy of sending, and for people who don't know, the policy was forcing nursing homes to take sick patients. Not as bad as Michigan, and I'll explain that, but basically if someone was sick, senior citizen, they forced nursing homes to take them back and sent them through the nursing homes like a buzzsaw, but don't take my word for it.
Governor Andrew Cuomo facing scrutiny, as he should, after finally reversing course for COVID-19 patients in nursing homes.
But New York has had the highest rate of nursing home deaths, specifically, not just old deaths, nursing home deaths in any state. They forced, this is the policy that people don't understand, because I don't just want to play politics and say, okay, you happen to have more old people, like we said with Italy, so obviously the death toll is going to be worse. No, it's because of a proactive policy that forced nursing homes to take in infected patients to try and get them out of hospitals.
But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died. I understand maybe
not germ theory
to blame or to find some relief for the pain that you're feeling.
I want to waterboard him with a smallpox blanket. Figuratively.
Figuratively.
Couple things though. He did. Weren't they respirating people, pushing those tubes down your throat? And once they do that,
that's also a problem.
So a lot of this stuff was in the beginning when they didn't know really what to do. They were
that is true. But you're trying to give the benefit of that. We always knew that it was bad for old people. We always knew that old people.
But why would they? Do we have a reason for why they were sending them back to the home?
Yes.
Did they not think it was going to?
This is exactly why, and then I'll get to what the. Yeah. This is the reason why I know specifically in Michigan is because. The death rates are high, right? Yeah. So this is something people don't understand about COVID, okay? COVID is significantly more lethal to old people.
Yes.
It's significantly less lethal to children and young people. Less so than the flu. That's a fact.
Yeah, as in zero deaths.
As in none. The only people
under 18, there was one.
Statistically zero.
Yeah, but my kids still can't go to school, but keep going.
That's true. Yeah, well, you put them, I saw kids with a mask in Michigan out on a farm. And then in the mid-range, like where we are, it's pretty comparable to the flu. Depends that there are some people who are outliers genetically. We don't know everything about this virus, but we always knew that it was significantly more lethal with old people. So they thought, this is their logic. They thought, well, you know what? If we just say, if there are a bunch of nursing home deaths, people are going to assume that's just COVID anyway. None the wiser. We won't have hospitals overburdened. Remember, we're about on the anniversary now of flattening the curve.
Right.
And so they all wanted to say, look how well we flattened the curve. Just ignore this. And they're shoving old people back in the nursing home like a busy closet going, get back in there.
Because they
Taking
die
a flopping
anyway.
arm.
Because they die anyway.
They die anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they flatten the curve. They have more hospital beds. Yeah, but what happened to Nana? Well, she wasn't going to make it anyway.
Well, and
So
here's what's-
it wasn't the idea that let's send them back because they'll be safer there because it's an isolated community, or
It's not an isolated
It's
community
not.
when you consider that actually STIs occur in old ladies in nursing homes more than any other demographic.
well, they weren't set up for this.
they get around.
They
Yeah.
get around.
They get around.
Slowly but quickly.
Thanks to the pill and a lack of morality.
Well, and the worst part of this is that we had organizations set up to come in and help. We had the United States government sending a ship into New York. They can't save COVID patients. I'm not sure how that matters, but it does matter. And
Right.
so you wanted them to say, oh, hospitals are going to be overrun. We've got to keep these people out of the hospitals. The hospitals never got overrun, and you turned away free help, and you killed people to do it. That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And by the way, they had the worst death rates back then. They still have the worst death rates today. The media didn't want to cover it because they were too busy crapping on Florida.
You just heard the doctors say in the South, you have the biggest problems right now.
Two
COVID
assholes
cases
in a pod.
exploding in Florida.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is set to announce a plan to reopen his state. Florida's stay-at-home order is due to expire tomorrow. We should note the state announced its highest one-day death toll yet. At least 83 Floridians lost their lives due to COVID-19 on Tuesday alone.
Since then, things in Florida have gotten very, very bad.
Nope.
The state has seen a dramatic increase in cases. 15,000 on Sunday alone, shattering records previously held by California and New York.
Which is you guys all remember this. They were just talking about Florida, right? We always heard about Florida. So you would
Yeah.
assume that Florida has some of the worst death rates. Not even close. No, they didn't, despite not enacting any lockdown policies at all. No draconian lockdown policies comparable to New York. They fared very well.
Very well.
Even though they have the second highest number of senior citizens in the country, and they fared better than New York.
You know, as somebody who performed in Florida at pretty much everywhere in Florida over the whole pandemic, I was amazed at how irreverent they were. I mean, Naples,
Yes.
you had old people in my crowd. They were just like all crammed in. They were just like, whatever, I got a gun. I'll shoot COVID in the face. It was unbelievable. And you're right. I mean, and you'd go out. I mean, Miami is basically happening. It's been going on for, and nobody, I don't know. It's pretty
They're
fascinating.
more concerned about preserving the ground owl species in Florida.
I didn't know owls, they burrow in the ground.
It's the ground owl.
That
Yes.
just makes it. You got dinosaurs.
We've had
in
the
Florida.
ground owl organization.
Burmese pythons and dinosaurs.
I know. In
Yeah, it's
Florida, of all
terrifying.
places, they threatened me. Some ground owl society, because I did a whole campaign about killing all ground owls, making them an extinct species.
That's
You know,
you
you
done.
shouldn't really do that because people might actually go out and harm ground owls. Good. I hope my words inspire violence against the ground owl. And by the way, here's the thing. So Florida, they were crapping on Florida while this was happening. And Cuomo knew that the media would carry his water. And I think, look, it's very obvious to make this connection here because nipple barbell Governor Cuomo, his brother has a show, and his brother still hasn't covered this story at all. He's too busy taking nude pictures while his wife tries to sell bleach water to save you from COVID.
He's got a good body, guy. He's got a good body. I'm sorry.
They even how do you think Cuomo knew the media was going to carry his water? They gave him an Emmy. They gave him an Emmy for his leadership in the pandemic. I didn't even know that was a
I
thing.
saw this.
They gave Governor Cuomo an Emmy
For acting?
Emmy?
and now we know our suspicions are right about old people dying. Just look. By the way, they gave him an Emmy, and just look how smug he was. Keep in mind, at this point in time, he knew that his policies were leading to the untimely deaths of senior citizens. The public didn't know because the
believe
media
that?
was protecting.
You
Yes,
believe
yes, I do.
he actually knew?
That's why he gets. Yes, he did. How could you not know?
I mean,
You sign an executive order saying we're going to send sick COVID patients into senior living homes, and you go, oh wow, we have a record number of deaths in senior living homes, and Florida basically is one big giant senior living home. They're not having any of this.
Was he sending them back when they were done though? When they were no longer
No.
sick, or he was
He
sending
was
them back?
sending back
No, yeah.
infected patients.
Yes.
And by the way, that's
Makes no
still not as
sense.
bad as Michigan. You won't even believe Michigan when I get to it. But it makes no sense, and it gets worse. But he knew the media was going to carry the water. This is how smug he was at this moment in time, knowing his policies and the repercussions.
Our House Republicans are looking into New York's March 25th order that directed nursing homes to take in infected patients. This thing is not going away, sir. 6,300 people died in New York nursing homes. That is the most in this country.
Yeah, the Republicans definitely are playing politics. They don't
Look
want
over
to
there.
talk about
So
how
these
they
are
are
lies.
now
These are people's
handling this
parents'
COVID
lives.
virus. Yes, I understand that. And there are facts also, Stephanie. So let's look at the facts, right, rather than the political rhetoric.
Okay, listen, I know you're trying to distract us with your nipple barbells, but the facts are you guys have worse death rates than anywhere in the country, and you guys decided to send people to nursing homes. And by the way, now they're admitting it. So we actually have this quote from his top aide, Melissa DeRosa. It's not some anonymous. This is the beauty with conservative news and what we do here. It's not just some anonymous source. It's not someone who was briefed on a conversation between Trump and Kevin McCarthy, who wasn't even there, but was briefed on a phone call. Melissa DeRosa, this is an actual quote in the new report. His top aide, we were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were going to give the Department of Justice, this is overlay N there, token Owen. We were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were going to give the Department of Justice or what we give to you guys. And what we started saying was going to be used against us, and we weren't sure if there was going to be an investigation. Oof. Basically, we froze, which is today's word of the day.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.